UFOs are in the news again. Fox News just broke this story yesterday, and as luck would have it, I just so happened to take a rare day off work today, hence why you're watching this video right now. So check out what they had to say.
The U.S. Navy is preparing new guidelines for pilots on how to report sightings of UFOs. The military reports there have been strange sightings of unauthorized or unidentified aircraft over its airspace in recent years, though no confirmed encounters with anybody from some other place. But the Navy is updating its process so that investigators can look into each individual report. Our national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Shep. Well, the Pentagon closed its office that dealt with UFO sightings in 2012 when Congress, in essence, stopped funding it. That office was called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Now, after a series of unusual encounters by Navy jets, like this one in 2017, showing an F-18 Super Hornet encountering an unidentified object, the Navy has decided it needs to codify how its sailors and pilots record such unexplained events in case these flying objects are in fact some kind of advanced aircraft sent by the Russians or Chinese to spy on the U.S. military.
Okay, that's reasonable, but if that's truly all that's going on, then why exactly is this newsworthy?
In essence, the U.S. Navy and Pentagon are trying to destigmatize reporting what they call unexplained aerial phenomena.
It's about damn time.
Today, the Navy issued a statement, quote, "The Navy is updating and formalizing the process by which reports of any such suspected incursions can be made to the cognizant authorities. A new message to the fleet that will detail the steps for reporting is in draft. In response to requests for information from congressional members and staff, Navy officials have provided a series of briefings by senior naval intelligence officials as well as aviators who reported hazards to aviation safety." For many years, it was considered a career ender to report these unexplained encounters, so many military personnel had downplayed them, Shep.
Is there anything to the timing of this?
Well, since 2014, there have been an increasing number of encounters. Most of them are suspected drones. After the 2017 F-18 incident and the release of this Navy video showing the pilot's reaction to the strange aerial encounter, the Pentagon established an office inside the Defense Intelligence Agency to study these recent phenomena at the urging of several U.S. senators who set aside $25 million for the new office. Among the incidents closely studied was an aerial incursion involving the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier strike group, which lasted several days and involved what pilots described as aircraft that flew in a manner that defied physics. Politico reporter Brian Bender broke the news of the Navy's new guidelines for reporting UFOs today. Shepard.
Jennifer, thank you.
Well, here's a story that didn't get enough attention. The U.S. Navy has enacted new rules for reporting UFOs. Many of its pilots see things they can't explain. Why the change? We'll ask an expert after the break. Even the U.S. Navy isn't certain what is going on. The Navy did just confirm that it is drafting new guidelines for personnel to report encounters with, quote, unidentified aircraft. The goal is to destigmatize the sightings of advanced, very high-speed aircraft that have been seen quite frequently approaching Navy ships and facilities without explanation. The Navy issued a statement that said, in part, this, quote, "There have been a number of reports of unauthorized and/or unidentified aircraft entering various military control ranges and designated airspace in recent years. For safety and security concerns, the Navy and the U.S. Air Force take these reports very seriously and investigate each and every report. As part of this effort, the Navy is updating and formalizing the process by which reports of any such suspected incursions can be made to the cognizant authorities," unquote. Chris Mellon is a former Pentagon intelligence official. He is closely involved in the History Channel's upcoming 6-part series, Unidentified, Inside America's UFO Investigation. He joins us tonight. Chris, thanks very much for coming on. So we've gone in a pretty short period of time from the U.S. military not really acknowledging that there is such a thing to them acknowledging that these sightings are so frequent they need a formal process for reporting them. What's changed?
Yes, thank you, Tucker. It's an extraordinary turnaround, and it's really the result of an interaction between Congress and the Navy. And the fact that this has gotten on Congress's radar began some discussions which elevated an issue that before this time had been smothered and kept at low levels of the bureaucracy. So now you have more senior policymaking officials hearing in some cases firsthand from the aviators involved and other personnel. They're learning the reality of the issue, and they're asking some direct and sometimes tough questions. And so this has elevated this entire issue within the department, and kudos to both for engaging and really listening to our men and women in uniform who've been squelched in the past, who've really been treated with disdain sometimes for reporting what's happening.
Well, I mean, and pilots, of course, are trained to discern between aircraft and weather balloons. So, like, if there's one group you should listen to, it's pilots. How often are these sightings reported? Do we know?
We don't know. We believe that probably 8 or 9 times out of 10, they are not reported when there's an encounter. We know from numerous debriefings and interviews that individuals in squadrons, when they bring a story forward, they're the only individual in their squadron usually who's willing to do so or have that discussion. We see the same thing among commercial airline pilots. It's not career enhancing, to say the least. We know these individuals are often ridiculed, and we're in the past, which is partly why this is such an important development. They're saying it's a legitimate issue now, you can talk about it.
But why is it okay to talk about this now? Why the sudden change?
So, but what do they think? I mean, I was just reading this morning, some of these sightings, again, by military pilots who know the difference, estimate that these are objects moving at 15,000 miles per hour, for example. I mean, that's so much faster than any object, human-made object, has ever traveled that we're aware of. So what do they think that is? What's the going theory on this?
Yeah, this is tough terrain. There are 3 hypotheses that people have put forward, and none of them are very comfortable. One is that one of our adversaries has leapfrogged us technologically, China or Russia.
You buying that, folks? I ain't. What about you, Chunky Drew?
Yeah, me neither.
Another theory is that these are some test aircraft of the U.S. I think we can discard that now with the Navy itself acknowledging these are not American. And the third popular theory, of course, is that these may be from some civilization elsewhere beyond our solar system. And none of these theories are very comfortable to contemplate, but we have to look at facts and derive theories from facts, not start with theories and disrule or rule out facts.
I mean, I hope this will get us a lot closer to doing this. Just very quickly, are the results of these surveys going to be made public at any point?
To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences, my colleagues and I, we have drafted some proposed legislation for Congress to consider that would simply ask for a report on this. It wouldn't cost any money. Right now,
let's demand one, shall we?
One of the problems is,
really quick.
One of the problems is nobody's in charge, and these organizations don't share information, so the information isn't pooled or analyzed.
Right. Well, that's the story of government. Chris, thanks so much for everything you do. Great to see you. Back 8 p.m.
So while this isn't exactly full disclosure of the truth, I do find this to be a very, very important milestone in the step to disclosure, and here's why. As many of you are well aware, the Brookings Institute in the 1960s advised NASA that if they were to ever find any evidence of extraterrestrial life, then perhaps they shouldn't tell the public because the public couldn't handle it, which personally I think is totally bogus, but is what it is. So if you are planning to disclose that we're not alone in the universe and you don't want to freak people out, how would you go about doing that? Well, I would propose that you would do it in a very, very gradual manner. Bring up the possibility in the media. We're seeing that happen so much these days. So is this orchestrated? And bring it up in a way that doesn't necessarily say, yes, they're aliens from another planet. Just bring up the topic. Soften people up for the blow of the truth. Is that what's happening now? Personally, I think it is. Here's another thing to consider. Did Fox News approach the Navy about this, or did the Navy approach Fox News? Well, I can't give a definitive answer one way or the other. My suspicion is that the Navy approached Fox News, and why would they do this? Again, that's like a telltale sign that this could be orchestrated. I don't know, but I'm dying to hear your opinions, so leave them in the comment section below, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, Drew here from Mad Cat Mysteries, and I hope you enjoyed the video you just watched. If you did, you can click on the subscribe button below. I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.